Today's case takes us to Calgary, a city in Western Canada. It was here on the 27th of February, 1991, that Anna Maria Wardzela, known to those around her as Anya, was born. Her parents, Stanislaw and Alina Wardzela, had immigrated to Canada from Poland in 1986, arriving with dreams of building a better future for their family. Stanislaw had been born in Starzyster-Zapka, Poland, on the 15th of August, 1953. At the age of 20, he'd served in the Polish army, and throughout the late 1970s and early 1980s, he'd worked in various countries before making the life-changing decision to come to Canada. The Wardzelers settled in Calgary, and in 1987, Stanislaw married Alina. 4 years later, they welcomed their daughter Anya, and in 1992, their son Peter was born. Stanislaw worked tirelessly to provide for his children. His children were everything to him. He worked hard to provide the best opportunities for his family and was a role model for Anna and Peter. The family was incredibly close-knit, bound together by their Polish heritage and Catholic faith. Anna's childhood friend Diana Wysocki, who'd known her for more than 2 decades, said the family was always together. They were tight, she said, adding that Anya and her father had a very loving, funny relationship. From a young age, Anna was deeply involved in Calgary's Polish community. She was a member of Krosy, a Polish dancing group, and sang in the Polish youth choir. Her passion for Polish culture didn't stop there. In 2013, at the age of 22, Anya joined the Polish Scouts Hersu. She began her scouting journey at Camp Woods in Sylvan Lake, where she earned the rank of aspirant, later advancing to first-rank guide leader. In 2017, she was a leader at the World Polish Scouts Jamboree in Tumruta, Quebec. She was also a certified lifeguard and dedicated her talents within the Polish community, helping to organize events such as the Kła Ponadis Conference. Education was always important to Ania. In 2013, she graduated with 2 degrees, a Bachelor of Arts in French language and a degree in education. That same year, she began working as a teacher for Rocky View schools, initially at Springbank Community High School. From 2018 to 2024, she taught at Auchel Edwards Elementary School in Urdry, before moving to Elizabeth Barrett Elementary School in Cochrane. Her colleagues and students adored her. A statement from Rocky View schools said they were grateful for the positive impact Ania had on the lives of their students and staff over the years, adding that she would be deeply missed. But outside of work and her involvement in the Polish community, Ania's greatest joy was her children. She'd given birth to her first son, Kazio, in 2018, followed by her daughter, Kalinka, in 2020, and her youngest son, Katzberg, in 2022. Ania loved the mountains and especially enjoyed hiking, always taking her children to enjoy the great outdoors, no matter their age. Her brother Peter, who was 18 months younger than Ania, said they spoke every single day. They'd often just ring each other for a chat or have video calls so Peter could see his niece and nephews. He said if it wasn't for her, he wouldn't be who he was that day because she'd helped him so much in life. She touched everyone's heart, he said. Peter said his father, Stanislav, was his best friend, someone he spoke to every day. Stanislav was always excited to see his grandchildren and shared a particular bond with Peter. They'd hunt every year together and go camping every year together. As Stanislav got older, he developed a disability and could no longer drive himself places. Peter had planned on taking his father on holidays to see the world together. By all accounts, the Warzelas were a loving, close family. They came to Canada to start a new life and just have a good life for their children, Peter said. But there was someone in Anya's life who didn't quite fit into this picture of family harmony. His name was Benedict Kaminsky. 38-year-old Benedict Kaminsky had studied petroleum engineering at the University of Alberta and later completed a master's degree in software engineering at the University of Calgary. He was a licensed gun owner and had no prior criminal record. To most people, he appeared to be an ordinary man, but behind closed doors, something was deeply wrong. Anna had married Benedict, and together they'd had 3 children over the course of their 7-year marriage. But the marriage was far from happy. Those close to Anna began to notice warning signs that would, in hindsight, proved devastating. Peter later described his brother-in-law as controlling. Nothing Anna did was ever good enough, he said. Benedict would search Anna's mobile phone and demand to know who she was talking to. The pattern of criticism and psychological control was constant, though it never escalated to the point where police were called. There were no prior domestic violence reports on file. To the outside world, Benedict appeared to be a respectable family man. But Christmas Day 2024 would change everything. The Whistler family gathered at Stanislaw and Alalina's home in Calgary's Kenora neighborhood for what should have been a joyful celebration, but the day would take a dark turn. Peter later described what happened. There was something off about him, Peter said of Benedict, like the way that my sister is cutting pickles and stuff. 3 times in under a minute, he's arguing about it with her, and we're all saying, what's wrong? The argument escalated. According to Peter, it started when the couple's son wanted to sit next to his grandfather at the table rather than his father. He kept antagonizing his kid. Peter said, "He started to push my sister away forcefully. I almost got into a fist fight with him." Benedict left the home before police were called. Following the row, Anaya told her brother something that would haunt him forever. She planned to leave her husband and file for a protective order against him. This was the final line she said. Peter said, "I honestly never thought that this guy was capable of doing something this horrific, but Benedict Kaminsky was capable." And in the 4 days that followed that Christmas argument, he would plan an act of unthinkable violence. Sunday the 29th of December 2024 started as a seemingly normal day. At around 3 in the afternoon, Anaya dropped her mother, Alina, off at the family home on Kenora Grove Northwest. A neighbor, Diane Lincoln, witnessed this routine visit. She would later describe the Wasillers as a lovely, happy family, adding that she would have never expected anything like what was about to happen. That evening, Peter was texting his sister. It was just a normal conversation between siblings who spoke every day. He had no idea it would be their final exchange. At approximately 8:40 p.m., a neighbor heard what sounded like a car door slamming whilst watching a film, but it wasn't a car door. At 9:30 p.m., Calgary police responded to reports of a person in medical distress at a home in the 0 to 100 block of Connor Grove Northwest, the home of Stanislaw and Alina Wutsala. When officers arrived, they found 71-year-old Stanislaw Wardala dead. He'd been shot. Alina had returned home to find her husband fatally wounded. The man she'd married in 1987, the father of her children, the grandfather to her 3 young grandchildren, was gone. As the investigation continued, concerns were raised by family members about Anaya. At approximately 11:15 p.m., officers went to an address in the 300 block of Tuscany Ridge Heights Northwest, Anna's home in the Tuscany neighborhood about 10 kilometers away. There, they found 33-year-old Anakia Kaminsky dead. She too had been shot. But that wasn't the most horrific part. Anakia's 3 children, Kazio, Kalinka, and Katsarak, had been in the home at the time of the killing. They had witnessed their mother's murder. Benedict had reportedly fled the scene with the children, later leaving them safely with relatives in the Bearport area before he disappeared. Inspector Lee Wayne with the Calgary Police Service's Major Crimes Section held a press conference the following day. The victims are believed to be Kaminsky's wife and her father. He said, "That's what we believe at the current time." Wayne said the deaths were believed to be targeted and domestic in nature. The police had a suspect, Benedict Kaminsky, 38, Anna's husband. Wayne said Kaminsky was not previously known to police and had no prior criminal convictions. Police confirmed that Kaminsky was a licensed gun owner who had access to firearms. The timeline of the killings was unclear, but the methodical nature of the crimes, 2 separate locations, the children being safely deposited with relatives, suggested this was not a crime of passion, but one of planning and premeditation. Diane Lincoln, the neighbor, was in shock. "Lovely family," she said. "I would have never expected anything like this at all. But where was Benedict Kaminsky?" Monday, the 30th of December, 2024. At 12:13 p.m., an Alberta emergency alert was issued for Division 6, which extends north from Calgary to include Mountain View County and south of the city past High River. The use of the provincial emergency alert system for a domestic violence case was rare, but the police believed the public needed to be warned. There is a dangerous man armed with a firearm in the areas of northwest Calgary and Bispep. The alert said the man is a suspect believed to be involved in the double homicide that occurred on Sunday, the 29th of December 2024, in the communities of Connor and Tuscanian. Benedict Kaminsky, 38, was described as a white male, 6 feet tall, with brown and gray hair, wearing a gray, red, and white shirt. He was believed to be driving a 2022 black Nissan Pathfinder. Residents in the communities of Beesport, Rocky Ridge, Tuscanian, and surrounding areas were asked to be on alert. Do not open the door to strangers, and if you see the suspect, do not approach and call 911 immediately, police said. Inspector Wayne explained the reasoning behind issuing the alert. We don't want anyone to interact with this individual, he told reporters. We go through a risk assessment process at every stage of an investigation. And once we start to see sudden behaviors or concerns getting raised, we then look towards utilizing the public and alerting them to risks. Initially, police had said the public was not at risk given the deaths were believed to have been targeted and domestic in nature. But as the investigation progressed and they learned more about Benedict's behavior and flight pattern, that assessment changed. The police believed Kaminsky could still be in northwest Calgary or near the Bearport area or even further away. This isn't just a Calgary operation, Wayne said. We're working in conjunction with our law enforcement partners in the province and across Canada in order to apprehend this offender. The community was terrified. A dangerous man was on the loose, armed with a firearm and believed to have already killed 2 people. At approximately 3:40 p.m., Calgary police received tips from the public in relation to the suspect's vehicle being parked along a road in the Water Valley area, about 60 to 80 kilometers northwest of Calgary in Mountain View County. Officers rushed to the scene. Upon arrival, police located Benedict Kaminsky near his vehicle. He was dead. He had taken his own life. The Alberta emergency alert was canceled at 4:40 p.m. The suspect has been located deceased, the update stated. The suspect's vehicle has also been located. There is no further risk to the public. Benedict Kaminsky's 36-hour reign of terror was over. But for the Wardzala family, the nightmare was only beginning. Peter Wardzala spoke publicly about his sister and father, his voice breaking with emotion. It completely broke me down. I know my mom was broken, and I knew right from then on that life is never ever going to be the same for this family again, he said. A GoFundMe campaign had been set up by Diana Wysocki to support Anaya's 3 young children. We are heartbroken to share the tragic passing of Anaya Wardzala, a beloved mom, daughter, sister, and friend, Wysocki wrote. Anaya's dear children are now facing an unimaginable loss. In this devastating time, we seek to provide support and help these kids navigate their grief, ensuring they have the resources and care they need as they move forward without their mom. The response was overwhelming. The campaign would eventually raise over $341,000 of its $340,000 goal, with approximately 3,100 donations received. All funds were transferred directly to Alina Wardzala to help with childcare and education expenses for the 3 children. Peter said he and his mother, Alina, intended to adopt Anaya's 3 children, Kazio, Kalinka, and Katsarak. She would do anything for these 3 children of hers. Absolutely anything, Peter said. The 2 older children, now undergoing therapy once a week, would sometimes ask about their father, but their guardians would steer the conversation back to their mother and grandfather. For the 2 older ones, their mother's killing will always be in the backs of their minds. But the kids are doing good, Peter said, adding that he would seek to formally adopt the trio. On Saturday, the 11th of January, 2025, a funeral mass was held for Anya and Stanislaw at Our Lady Queen of Peace Catholic Church in Calgary, followed by a graveside service at Queen's Park Cemetery. In lie of flowers, the family asked for donations to be made to Calgary Women's Emergency Shelter or to Fear is Not Love, organizations dedicated to helping victims of domestic violence. What happened to Anna Kaminsky and her father, Stanislaw Wardzala, is every family's worst nightmare. A festive celebration turned into a violent argument. A decision to leave an abusive relationship met with the ultimate act of control and violence. 2 lives stolen, 3 children left orphaned, and the family torn apart forever. 2 lives were cut short by an act of senseless violence. But their legacy lives on in the 3 children they left behind, in the students Anna taught, in the community they were part of, and in the memories of all those who loved them.